Welcome to GC360, where news comes full circle. I'm Deanna Hamilton.
And I'm Michael Warwick. Welcome back. We hope you all had a great spring break. Kicking off today's episode, we catch up with students' spring break adventures and explore some of the hottest destinations for spring breakers.
And then we take a close look at one of GC's biggest problems, parking.
And later, we find out who reigns supreme in the competition for Best Burger in Milledgeville. We start with breaking news. A fire at the Georgia College Alpha Omicron Pi sorority house. According to an email to students from GC Front Page News, no one was home when the fire started at around 3:15 p.m. on Wednesday, March 25th. No one was injured, but 3 Georgia College students were displaced from their rooms in the sorority house on the southwest corner of West Green and South Liberty Streets. The 3 sorority sisters have been provided housing and meals by Georgia College, and other accommodations are being met as needed. When GC360 arrived on the scene, a member of AOPI was looking around outside the house but declined to comment. A neighbor across the street from the AOPI house had this to say.
I was walking back to class and I saw all the fire trucks coming this way, and I kind of walked back, and next thing I know, I'm looking at like 15 cop cars and like 4 fire trucks right here, and the house is just like smoking everywhere, and there's a little fire in the back, and it was a crazy scene for sure. I saw one of the girls like standing out there, but they weren't really screaming or anything. They looked like they were in like a state of shock, but that was about it. From what I heard, the whole upstairs is pretty trashed. They said it was an electrical fire, and it basically just went from there.
The official cause of the fire is still under investigation.
We turn now to a serious problem around the country and at Georgia College, prescription drug abuse. GC360's Jenna Howard has the latest on research going on here.
Here at Georgia College, we are not immune to students abusing drugs. Research is currently being done on campus to better understand prescription drug abuse, or what student Scott York calls a dark area of research.
This is like a field of drugs that gets left out a lot. People don't think about prescription drugs when you think about drug abuse. You think about things you learn about in DARE, like cocaine.
York has found that amphetamines were the most commonly used amongst students, which includes prescribed ADD and ADHD medications such as Adderall, Ritalin, and Vyvanse. The National Institute on Drug Abuse found similar results, saying that prescription and over-the-counter drugs are, after marijuana and alcohol, the most commonly abused substances by Americans 14 and older. Is it the collegiate atmosphere or the availability of the drugs that's pushing students to take medications?
You know, just like the general American culture, as we realize that prescription drugs are becoming more of a problem for abuse and illicit use in the general public, then we're starting to see those problems emerge on the college campus as well.
Criminal justice professor Carrie Cook thinks that whatever is causing the issue, that resources need to become available for students who suffer from this kind of drug abuse. Cook's research here at Georgia College began with a focus on criminal victimization.
In victimization, I mean criminal victimization, so whether it's assault or identity theft or sexual assault.
She realized there was a link between these crimes and incapacitative drugs, such as prescription pills. While conducting her research, she realized she needed more student responses and enrolled Scott York to help. York believes there is a strong link between prescription drug abuse and Greek life.
You can pull this off of any Hollywood movie. Drug dealers need trust, stuff like that.
York's research was a specific sample of 585 students from random classes that looked at differences with students who are or are not affiliated with Greek life. York says that these tight networks are one of the main selling points of Greek organizations, but it is these networks of trust that also enable students to have the resources to find drugs. The survey did not focus on prescription or illicitness of participants' use, but whether or not they had used the drug before. The results of the survey have inspired York to do a focus group to discover more about the culture of these drugs. This is Jenna Howard reporting for GC 360.
For many GC students, spring break was filled with countless adventures. From the sunny beaches of the Gulf Coast to the Smoky Mountains or just the comfort of home, spring break destinations this year were diverse and filled with lots of fun. GC 360's Katie Souther has the scoop.
For most of us, spring break is still fresh in our thoughts. According to an unscientific survey created by GC 360, the majority of the students went to the beach, especially the Gulf Coast. GC student Griffin Smith went to Alabama Gulf Shores.
I played a game called Beersby. It's like a frisbee game, but you have to hit beer cans off a pole, and it's really fun.
Another popular destination included Savannah for the St. Patrick's Day Parade.
Went down there for the St. Patty's Day Parade, and then we knew a friend who lived in Tybee, so we went to her beach house afterwards. It was very crazy. We woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning to get our spot, so it was an all-day experience, very tiring.
Other students went to Jacksonville, Florida. Also, many people went to Tybee Island. GC student Katie Griffin describes her trip to the island. Tybee was the perfect quick getaway. Instead of driving 8 hours to the Gulf, we spent our time basking in the sun. But not all students went to the coast.
So I backpacked for about 4 days in the Great Smoky Mountains National Park in Tennessee. It was a lot of fun. I did about 28 miles.
Me and a few friends went up to Asheville and we camped in the Mount Pisgah National Park, and we just, had fun in Asheville. We toured some breweries, went to some cool restaurants.
Even though many spring breakers traveled, there were still a great deal of students that went home.
The rest of my spring break, I went back home and did homework for all my classes, and it was a great time.
I just wanted to go home and see my parents and also see old high school friends.
Overall, the majority of students seem to have truly enjoyed their spring break. I'm Katie Souther for GC 360 News.
Coming up next, our sports teams will bring you up to date.
Then they'll tell you what the teams have been up to, and we'll take a lap with Georgia College running team to stay tuned for more and after that.
I think someone at my friend's school has this thing called autism. My friend's brother's son has autism. My neighbor's son has autism. My son has autism.
Autism is getting closer to home. Today, 1 in 68 children is diagnosed with autism. That's about a 30% increase in 2 years. Learn more at autismspeaks.org/signs.
What if you could invest in the future of kids, like a stock? Not the kind of stock that's about making money, but a stock for social change. A whole new kind of investment called Better Futures. When you invest, it helps kids go to college. Believe in us, invest in us, watch us grow.
My name is Sydney, and I'm your dividend.
Welcome back from spring break and welcome to GC 360 Sports. I'm Cole Rogers.
I'm Kelly Miller.
And I'm KJ Sinclair.
Last week, the Bobcats men's golf team hosted the annual Bobcat Invitational at Cuskawilla on Lake Oconee. In a tournament which featured 10 of the top 25 teams in the nation, the Bobcats managed to place 13th. Senior Ryan Trocchio led the team, placing 15th overall at 5 shots over par.
In this week's tournament, the Bobcats traveled to Greenwood, South Carolina to take part in the Bearcat Classic. The Bobcats had a much better result, finishing in 2nd place overall. Trocchio once again led the team at 7 shots under par and in 3rd place overall out of the 90 competitors.
In the latest national softball rankings, the Georgia College team climbed 2 spots in the rankings to number 8. The Bobcats' latest game, a doubleheader at Albany State, saw the women grab 2 impressive victories. In the first matchup, Marissa Boyette picked up her 16th win on the season, aided by Holland Corsi, who blasted 2 home runs in the game. The Bobcats exploded for 15 runs on 14 hits, notching the 15-1 victory. Game 2 saw the GC bats cool off a bit with just 7 hits, but the result was the same. Carly Lewis started the game on the mound, throwing 4 innings, and Cassidy Rice came on in relief to seal a shutout, 5-0 victory. With a doubleheader sweep, GC softball improves their record to 30-4.
On the other diamond, the Bobcat baseball team played host to Erskine College Tuesday night at John Kurtz Field. Coming into the game, winners of 8 in a row, the Bobcats have been scoring a lot of runs lately. It was a back-and-forth game versus the Flying Fleet, seeing each team hold the lead. However, despite a ninth inning bases-loaded rally, the team would fall short by a score of 11-8.
The men's and women's tennis teams took to the courts on Friday to face West Florida in a non-conference matchup. On the men's side, the Bobcats put up a good fight against the top team in the national rankings. Mattia Campos and Pedro Encenaro claimed the only doubles victory for GC, and Janet Kumbeyer and Anton Wern snatched a pair of single victories in a 6-3 defeat. The women's team would also fall short in a 7-2 contest. However, Macy Polk and Hannah Sardinia dominated their doubles contest, while Katie Krupp notched the lone singles victory.
At Georgia Military College, the rifle team won its 3rd straight NRA Intercollegiate National title in the Air Rifle Championship. Competing in the ROTC division, the team scored 2,145 points out of 2,400. The Bulldogs defeated Illinois State University to defend the title.
Students at Georgia College are always looking for ways to stay healthy and fit, but they also want to have fun while doing it. GC 360 reporter Will Dodgen caught up with the Bobcat Prowlers Running Club to find out more about the organization.
Just 3 short years ago, a running club at Georgia College didn't exist. It took 2 students with a passion to get it rolling.
The running club started because my roommate and I, Nina, we went to the Centennial open house thing that they have for freshmen, and we were walking around and we were like, oh, let's join the running club. Like, we loved running in high school. It was such a great way to meet people and a great way to keep in shape. But turns out there was no running club. So we just like joked around about it all first semester freshman year. We were like, oh, we should totally start a running club. Like, it would be so great and fun, and like brainstormed all these ideas. And then second semester we were like, oh, we should actually do this. Like, we could totally do it.
The club is a student-run organization with 30 members and about 15 regulars. They are sponsored by Dr. Larbi Oyukata, the chair of the Modern Languages and Cultures Department, who is himself an Olympic runner.
He had an Olympic experience where he ran track for Morocco a while back, so he's been very involved and helps us a lot get on our feet and really make a plan because we weren't sure where we were going with it.
For these GC students, running is more than just a way to stay in shape.
I like just the bonding that you get with all the other people. It's just a common interest that you all have.
We just had such great friendships from our high school experience in running that we wanted to create the community at Georgia College that we had at our schools.
The club can be seen on campus every Wednesday practicing different types of running. One week, they will focus on long distance and run around main campus. This week, they played Capture the Flag. You can find the Georgia College Running Club on Facebook at GC Prowlers and sign up on OrgSync. Or you can try and catch up with them every Wednesday on Front Campus. This is Will Dodgen reporting for GC 360.
That's it for sports. Coming up after the break, A special master recommended that City Manager Barry Jarrett should be fired. We'll find out whether the City Council agreed. That's just on the other side of the break.
They said I couldn't dream. Called me a piece of trash and swore that's all I'd ever be. Said a bottle couldn't see the ocean. Give up. Go back to the dumpster. But I didn't listen. I made my way. And now, I am what I've always wanted to be.
It's good.
Homemade noodles. Marty, stop it. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. It reminds me, I've been thinking maybe we should try a new form of birth control. I heard about this one, it's called the IUD, intrauterine device. Or we could try the patch on your arm. Actually, I think that one goes on your butt.
Bedsider.org has birth control information and a lot more. And it's...
What do you think then? Arm or the butt?
Thank you, dear. Well, you're very supple. Just like I was at your age. Back then, I was a sex expert. Used to call me the buttered biscuit. I know about birth control, too. So you can ask me anything, baby.
Bedsider.org has birth control information and a lot more. And it's...
Have you had sex in this car yet?
The Milledgeville City Council has voted not to fire City Manager Barry Jarrett. The decision came at Tuesday evening's council meeting. In making the decision, the council disregarded a recommendation from a special master who ruled that Jarrett had violated the city's ethics code and should leave office. GC360's Will Willever has a full report.
For the past several weeks, GC360 has been closely following the events occurring in Milledgeville's city government. This week, we are here to report on the questionable legal actions that have been taken and what the City Council plans to do about them. In a previous GC360 report, we shared Councilman Walter Reynolds' recording of City Manager Barry Jarrett expressing that he did indeed mishandle $5.1 million of the city's tax money. After Melba Burrell and other concerned citizens filed ethical complaints against Jarrett, the City Council decided to rewrite the laws on how ethics hearings within our government are to be handled.
Well, some of it we can't pursue because it falls under the ethics ordinance that has been basically abandoned and abolished. And the way the ethics ordinance is rewritten is if you charge 2 or more of city officials, it goes under this new provision.
Under the old ordinance, 3 Milledgeville city residents would have been chosen at random to hear the case, similar to jury duty. Members of the City Council rewrote that ordinance to effectively give themselves the power to choose one person to hear the case, in this case referred to as a special master. The special master's job is to hear the complaints and make a recommendation about what the City Council should do. On February 16th, Special Master Longan found that Jarrett was in fact in violation of the city's ethics code and recommended that he be removed from office. After a ruling is made, the person being accused has the option whether to appeal the decision or not. On March 18th, Jarrett announced that he would not be appealing the Special Master's decision. Jarrett released a statement to NBC saying, "Although I strongly disagree with the findings, conclusions, and recommendations of the Special Master in the recent ethics case, I have decided not to appeal his decision. In my opinion, it is in the best interest of the citizens of Milledgeville for this long and contentious proceeding to end now. In my many years of service to the city of Milledgeville, I have always strived to do what is best for the city and its citizens, and it is in this spirit that I decided not to pursue an appeal." At the City Council meeting on Tuesday, Council members voted not to adopt the recommendations made by the Special Master, with the lone dissenting opinion coming from Councilman Walter Reynolds. Jarrett will keep his job as city manager and has effectively emerged from this scandal unscathed. The actions of many officials have caused questions of ethics and of transparency in government. One thing is certain, GC 360 will be there every step of the way to keep you informed. For GC 360, I'm Will Woolever.
Georgia College may be one of the most sought-out universities in the state, and there is much to find on campus. But one thing people wish they didn't have to look so hard for is a parking space. Georgia College recently acquired a plot of land that SGA President Juwan Jackson said during his successful re-election campaign would mean more parking spaces. But the story isn't that simple. GC 360's Sarah Beck got to the bottom of the story.
Where should I park today? Here? 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 Parking at GCSU still remains one of the biggest problems for students. There seems to be some confusion over university plans to expand parking. In the recent SGA presidential election, incumbent Juwan Jackson emphasized his role in creating new parking spaces for students. At the debate with his opponent Barrett Stanley, Jackson said he hopes the university acquire land gifted by Norfolk Southern Railroad, and because of that, parking would expand.
And I'm proud to announce that as of last Tuesday, over the course of the next couple of months, you'll start to see parking expanding here at Georgia College because that area behind the depot will start to be paved so that you can have more room to park. Thank you.
But Greg Brown, who is the Director of Operations for Auxiliary Services, says the area behind the depot will not be paved and will not be used for parking.
But in actuality, Georgia College needs a place that's a little more industrial for storage, for facilities like gravel and things like that, for recycling and things like that. So what we thought would be better is to take the recycle cans and all the trash bins that are currently an eyesore at Centennial, move them to someplace kind of hidden.
The university plans to move trash and recycling bins from the area behind Centennial to the newly acquired land south of the depot. The area now occupied by those bins will be converted to parking. Auxiliary Services Operations Director Brown says that will create 40 to 50 new parking spaces. It's unclear exactly who will be able to park there. So despite what Jackson said, university officials say there are no plans to pave the former Norfolk Southern land and create new parking there. Jackson, who won re-election as SGA president, maintains that the depot area was supposed to be used for parking. In a statement to GC 360, Jackson said, "The idea was to convert this area to additional student parking and also to relocate our university vehicles to this location. I am unaware of any hesitation not to move forward with achieving just that. I plan to get to the bottom of what I believe an issue of miscommunication in the coming days." Director Brown says the new parking spaces behind Centennial won't be created at least until the beginning of 2016. This is Sarah Beck reporting for GC 360.
After the break, it's war. Burger war, that is.
When we come back, we'll search for the best burger in town and see who reigns victor in the world of fast food burgers.
Can you help me with this? My new dad teaches me all kinds of stuff.
Sure.
He helps me with homework.
That would be 3.6795.
Thanks.
Yep.
He helps me with my decision making.
I wouldn't use this one. Ever.
And he's even teaching me how to drive.
And that's why cars have bumpers.
I'm learning so much.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of kids in foster care will take you just as you are.
Good afternoon and welcome to GC 360's Entertainment. I'm Veronica Ulysses. Burgers, burgers, and more burgers. You can find lots of burgers among the restaurants on Highway 441. 3 GC students had a fun time tasting 7 different burgers to determine just which burger takes the crown in Milledgeville. GC 360's Michael Warwick has the story.
Little burgers, big burgers, cheeseburgers, and bacon burgers. They're all here on 441 in Milledgeville, and they're available on the dollar menu from the numerous fast food restaurants. We had 3 Georgia College students try out 7 cheap hamburgers from every fast food establishment. Participating in the test were, from left to right, food lovers Anna Smith, Madison Stokes, and Michael Ziegler. First up, Cookout.
What do you like about the burger?
I like the thickness of the patty.
Okay. What didn't you like about the burger?
It was a little dry.
Okay. I think overall, a rating, I would give it 7.5.
It's a good rating.
I like that.
All right.
Then, McDonald's.
McDonald's double.
Well, where's the hamburger?
I
All
didn't like that
tasted
at
was
all. That
onion.
was terrible.
It wasn't
Oh,
terrible.
I like that
gosh.
one.
The newly added Checker Burger was tasted.
Checker burger.
Checkers.
The new Checkers.
I'm confused. What's on it? Is there like mayonnaise on it?
There's a lot of stuff on it.
There's a lot.
I got a lot of mustard. A lot of mustard.
A lot of liquid.
A lot of.
Not a lot of
condiments.
Kind
burger.
of like-
Not a lot of burger.
Yeah, just a lot of juicy.
Yeah.
Weird.
Rarely frequented Burger King was tested.
What do you think about the Burger King burger?
I liked it. I like this one. This one tastes like one you would cook out.
Yeah.
Like a grill, like on a grill.
I wish it could be a little thicker, but I mean, I can definitely taste the grill, like the smoke.
I like it.
Like going in the throat.
The 3 test tasters came to a conclusion. Out of the 7 hamburger-selling fast food restaurants on 441, Milledgeville's Burger King touts the best dollar burger with Cookout a close runner-up.
It was the king of burgers. I really liked it. It was my favorite. Because, I don't know, I just felt like it was a great burger to bun ratio, you know?
So our taste testers found their favorite dollar burger, but by no means is it a healthy option.
Yeah, I think there should be healthier options, of course, but the greasy food is always the best, so.
Burger King keeps its crown and wins our 441 dollar menu burger war. Take a bite out of that. And this is Michael Warwick for GC360.
We've got an exciting weekend coming up. Sounds of the South Music Festival will take place here in Milledgeville this weekend. With us here in the studio today, we have artists from the band Midnight Royalty who will be performing at this weekend's event. Sierra Watkins, lead singer, Joey Hurley, guitarist, and Quinn Brophy, the drummer. Welcome, guys. Thank you for coming in here today. So, Sierra, how did you guys form and start this band?
Okay, well, since you're asking me, I'm going to tell it my way. They probably would disagree. But basically, the universes aligned, and we all signed up for beginner's guitar together. So upon arriving, I see Joey, who's very obviously taking this class because he can already play guitar, and he's going to get an A in it. And then I see Quinn. He mentions that he plays the drums or something. He's a real drummer, not a guitarist, whatever that means. So we talk, we're chatting outside. We all like similar bands, and we're like, you know, jiving with that. And then I mentioned that I can sing, and then one thing leads to another. We jam out together. They had been jamming together since high school, and they had been recently playing with a guy named Jake, who's our other guitarist. So we did that a little bit, and then we needed a bassist, obviously. So then one of my friends played bass, and it just all kind of came together.
Well, that's awesome. Thank you. And Joey, what's been your favorite part about being a part of Midnight Royalty so far?
Honestly, well, my whole expectation of my college experience to be kind of like my brothers, really get into the music scene. And, you know, he was in Athens, and here in Milledgeville, it's a little harder sometimes to really get into that. So it's lucky, you know. I was lucky enough to already have, you know, a drummer and Quinn, and then just to happen to meet Sierra, and we already were friends with Jake, and then Gentry came along too. So my favorite part is just playing the music on, you know, live for everyone, and just getting to have that experience.
That's awesome. Thanks. And Quinn, what do you think you're most looking for this weekend about playing at Sounds of the South?
I'm looking forward to performing, of course, and seeing the other bands as well. Our friend Mitch Hammond, Maddie Davis, you know, the Hayes. Can't wait to see them, and also Dana Swimmer, who Joey's older brother, he used to play for, and they're coming to Milledgeville. So seeing the other bands and performing, I just can't wait for that.
That's awesome. Well, thank you guys for coming in today. We appreciate it. And so that's it for GC360 today. We'll be back with you next week with full coverage of Sound of the South and more. See you next week.
What's up, y'all? What's up? Are we still on?
Yeah, but
We're still
yeah.
on. Okay.
That's
Maybe
true.
the
Huh?
Maybe the
Maybe.